Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Cynthia Tomaine here with Interactive Brokers, and thank you for joining today's webinar on the Portfolio Analyst, a feature available through Interactive Brokers. I'm very pleased to have with me today Kristen Havner, who is going to be delivering today's presentation. Kristen works with our Portfolio Analyst team. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and make you the presenter, Kristen. If you would show your screen, we'll get underway here this afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Hello all and welcome. Thank you, Cynthia. Again, I'm Kristen Havner, a project manager for Interactive Brokers, and today we're going to be discussing Portfolio Analyst. Portfolio Analyst provides advanced investment analysis for sophisticated investors to consolidate, track, and analyze the portfolio's complete financial performance. Our easy-to-use interface is designed for any desktop or mobile device. Default and custom reporting tools provide 10 years of powerful analysis on a daily, monthly, or quarterly basis. Access to this online performance analysis tool is available from the Portfolio Analyst menu in Portal. And today, as you can see on my screen, this is our client portal, and I will be using an individual test account with external accounts as well. So if you have any questions pertaining to institutional or multiple account structure types, please be sure to ask those questions in the question panel, and I will address at the end of the session. So now I am navigating to the Portfolio Analyst screen, and as you can see, it's in the menu here on the left. And by default, all accounts external for individual account types are selected here in the account picker. So if you click on these blue pills here, it will bring out your account picker, and you can select or deselect the accounts desired. So I'm going to select all today and continue. Now this is our Portfolio Analyst home screen. As you can see, it's displaying the net asset value of your brokerage and all linked accounts in one place. All linked accounts are selected by default for individuals, as I previously mentioned. The ending total NAV of all accounts with the percent return across multiple financial accounts in a single view displayed at the top of this page, as you can see here in the green, and the account return on the right. Now this brokerage account return is offered in time-weighted return and money-weighted return, so you can just toggle the return type here by a click of a button. The bars are color-coded to correspond to account types in the table below the chart. Hover your mouse over any bar and see the ending value of that account type on a specific date. And as you can see here, there are different date ranges, just like the MWR, TWR toggle. So you can do 7 days, month to date, 1 month, year to date, 1 year, or a custom date range. If I decide to come in and do a custom date range, you'll have a from and to date account picker selected. So if I just want to view last week, I would just select the 15th through the 19th and click go. So as you can see, your account values are responsive in that way. Now, if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see View Excluded Accounts here. This button will show you the accounts, perhaps external or Interactive Brokers accounts that are not included in this page. Perhaps they've been closed, perhaps there's a connectivity issue, perhaps they're just stale accounts. So you will be able to view those accounts here. Now, on this page, it supports detailed drill down. So I'm going to change this back to year to date. And as you can see over time, you'll be able to see the information in the bar chart as well. When I drill down to brokerages, you'll get a more detailed view. It will break out by financial instruments. So here you can see stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, cash, bonds, unclassified assets, and cash. And again, this supports drill down. So if I continue and click on stocks, it will open up a new pane with your beginning top positions and your ending top positions. And typically these are 5 positions if available. And now these charts are also color coordinated with the positions in the table. And as you can see here, they're alphabetically ordered by symbol. There's a long short breakout flag, quantity, price, value, change, and contribution to return. Now you might see here on the right-hand side that this contribution to return is NA. This is because this is an external position, and at this time we do not support contribution to return for external positions, but we will do so in the future. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we total the value and the contribution to return and the change in value in green here. Now I'm going to click the breadcrumbs to get back to the home screen. And we're going to continue on to our Reports tab. So now on the Reports tab, you'll find your most granular information since inception of the account. So again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, that we support up to 10 years of data. So from 2009 forward, we support in the reports and throughout PortfolioAnalyst. So we offer free default and custom reports, as you can see here on my screen. You can download these presentation-ready reports in PDF or CSV format. We offer a snapshot report, which is ideal for easy viewing, downloading, and convenient for presentations to clients and/or prospective clients or investors. This report gives you a printable summary of an account's return, NAV, financial instrument allocation, and distribution of returns. Snapshot reports are only available in PDF format. Detailed reports are more comprehensive and granular presentations. Detailed reports are available in PDF and CSV format. If multiple accounts are selected in the account picker, you can choose one of the following options when you run a default or custom report. Consolidate selected accounts into a single report, or generate an individual report for each selected account, which produces a zip file containing a report for each account. So as you can see here, if I click a detailed PDF report, those options will become available for the time period selected. So I'm now going to go through a few sample reports just so you can get a look and feel of what these reports look like, which are available in our reporting reference guide. So I'm going to open up a new tab here. This is our documentation page available from our website. So if you go to Education, the user guides will be available here. So if you scroll down to Reporting Guide, it will open up to the Reporting Reference Guide here, and I have our samples open. So I'm going to open up our detailed PDF report for sample purposes, and I'm going to scroll slowly through the report and briefly mention our most popular reports. So this is a cover page here. This cover page can be white branded if you're in an institutional account, so you can have your institution's logo on this page and Interactive Brokers would no longer be here. Here's our table of contents, which are all clickable. I'm going to go to the account overview page, which looks similar to our snapshot report. And as you can see and previously mentioned, there's a few key statistics here: cumulative return, net asset value, and financial instrument allocations. Now, when scrolling down, you have your historical performance. This offers returns and annualized returns. Annualized returns are only offered for periods of 1 year or more. And this is also offered with benchmark comparison. So as I'm scrolling, you'll see the benchmark comparison report. And we'll get into benchmarks later, but you can select up to 3 benchmarks, as you can see here in this report. So now I'm going to scroll back up to the table of contents. And I'm just going to go to our performance by symbol report. So this is one of our most popular reports. It offers the top 5 and bottom 5 contributors of your portfolio, contribution by sector, contribution by financial instrument, and nice bar charts here at the top. And then when you scroll down, it's quite a detailed table broken out by financial instrument. So as you can see here, bonds at the top is the financial instrument type, and everything will be listed beneath in alphabetical order. We offer sector in this table, average weight, return, contribution to return, unrealized P&L, and realized P&L. We also have a flag to the right whether the position is open or closed. And I'm just going to slowly scroll through this report so you can see how it's broken out by financial instrument. And everything is totaled here. So again, if you have multi-currency cash or you're trading Forex, those cash components will be broken out here just like any of the other positions would and totaled at the bottom. So this is our performance by symbol report. I'm going to go through one more report, our projected income report. Another popular report here. And as you can see, this report only has cash, but you can see that there's a debit interest here, and it will show you the frequency of that interest, so it's paid on a monthly basis. The quantity, price, value, current yield, estimated annual income for the entire 2020 year, and estimated 2020 remaining income. So this is really useful for those of you trading bonds, fixed income, or perhaps you like to get dividends and reinvest your dividends, this report is quite useful. So now I'm going to navigate back to the portal screen and talk a little bit more about the reports tab. So as you can see here, I clicked on this before, but each of these icons represents the format of the report. So this is snapshot PDF, detailed PDF, and detailed CSV. These options are also available in our custom reports pane, but for the default reports, these options are not configurable. So I'm going to bring us down to the custom reports pane, and I'm going to create a custom report. So here, these are all required fields. You're going to click a report name. So if I'm creating a report, I'm going to call it test, a time period, custom, calendar year, previous month, previous quarter, month to date, year to date, and since inception. And again, I emphasize that since inception is offered for 10 years. So I'm going to go ahead and click year to date so we don't have a long load time here. Frequencies are offered on a daily, monthly, or quarterly basis. So I'm going to select daily. Report type detailed, so again, detailed or snapshot, and then the format. So I'm going to select PDF for today's purposes. Now, a thing to note is that our default report performance measures is time-weighted return. So to use money-weighted return, you would have to select it in the custom report performance measure section. So I'm going to keep it for time-weighted return today. You have configurable options here. Replace account ID with account alias. So I'll say yes. And include a cover page and include table of contents. I'm not going to include those as we already looked at them through the sample report. Now down here, you'll see our list of report pages. So instead of running a larger default report, if you only like the performance by symbol report and the projected income report, those are the only ones you have to select. And something special about the custom reports here is historical performance, as I previously mentioned, has the annualized returns option. So when you click on this, you have the option to select or deselect annualized returns. By default, the returns will not be annualized. And the same goes for benchmark comparison reports. So if I click the historical performance benchmark comparison report, you'll be prompted to select your benchmarks. So now we're going to get into the benchmark discussion. If I want to select SPY as a benchmark, I would type in the symbol or description and search for SPY. As you can see here, you have a few options. This is going to be just the S&P 500. So I'm going to click SPY in USD and then continue. So now my report will include SPY, and again, you can include up to 3 benchmarks. And I'm going to create this custom report. Once created, the report will be saved on this screen here, and you'll be able to edit it. So if I click edit, it'll take me back to the original screen. And then it's going to prompt you to continue and again save your changes. You have the option to delete the report here or generate the report. And just like default reports, when I run the report, you're going to have this consolidation option here at the bottom, but you will also have the option to change the time period, frequency, and format if desired, so you don't have to edit the entire report once again. So it prevents clicking more. Since we just briefly talked about custom benchmarks, we'll continue our discussion on custom benchmarks. So to create a custom benchmark, I'm going to come in here to the plus icon to create. A name and abbreviation is required. So again, I'm going to call this test, and we'll do abbreviation XYZ. You can select benchmarks here in the same search pane as previously mentioned, but the weights must equal 100%. So if I click ACWI and ACWX, my weights would have to be 50% and 50%. I'm going to save this custom benchmark, which will be available for viewing and editing here in this custom benchmark pane. But again, throughout PortfolioAnalyst, you will be able to select this custom benchmark. So now let's talk about reports delivery. So to configure reports delivery, you're going to come in here to this reports delivery tile and click the gear icon. Once here, you'll have an option to select email or FTP delivery method with encryption. If you would like an FTP delivery, you can reach out to your sales representative or client services, and we will happily set up an IB hosted FTP for you. Now, once in this screen, your default reports and custom reports will be available if the time periods are month to date, previous month, previous quarter, previous calendar year, year to date, and since inception. Reports with month to date, year to date, or since inception time periods are delivered on a daily basis, so the reports are up to date. When configuring each report for delivery, be sure to select the report checkbox, like you can see here for previous month. From the account picker, you will also be able to change, add, or edit your account. So again, the account picker that we saw before will be available so that the report is configured for those accounts. So I will select Boat 2 and continue for this report. Now again, for default reports, you can choose the snapshot PDF, detailed PDF, or detailed CSV option. And again, it's looking at all of your consolidated accounts, so you have the same consolidation options available here on the right. As for custom reports, because you already configured these options and you selected the account here, these options aren't available. They're saved to the custom report. So if you want to edit the type of the report, so say you want to switch the report from CSV to PDF format, you would do so on that custom reports panel. So these are our delivery options. I'm going to go back to the breadcrumbs and go back to our reports page. And again, like you'll see throughout PortfolioAnalyst, we have help text available, so if you have any questions, this should help. I'm now going to move to our Portfolio Checkup tab. So here for Portfolio Checkup, you can view exposure by asset class, sector, and geography. Use risk measures such as match drawdown, peak to valley, Sharpe ratio, and standard deviation to understand risk versus return. Measure performance against more than 250 industry benchmarks or custom defined benchmarks as we discussed previously. So as you can see here in the return tile, you have 30-day, 1 year, and since inception options, and like on the home screen, you can toggle between TWR and MWR. Here you can change the benchmark or remove the benchmark. So if I remove the benchmark here, you'll have the ability to add the benchmark if you would like to in the future. And again, the search is the same. So I'm going to select my custom ABC benchmark. Now, something to note here is that we only offer 4 risk measures on this HTML screen, but we do offer quite a few more risk measures in our detailed reports in PDF and CSV version. We do have our risk measures white paper available for you in the handout section of this webinar. So again, in the allocation sections here, you have very nicely color-coded pie charts, which have the values of that allocation when you hover over. You also have the values broken out by long, short in the table beneath. You have the dollar NAV and the weight of that long or short breakout out of the entire portfolio. And the same thing goes for geographic and sector allocations here. So similar to Portfolio Checkup is Fund Parser, so I'm going to navigate to that tab now. As you can see here, you have the ability to search over 10,000 ETFs and mutual funds, or view the concentration of your portfolio in our concentration report below. Here you can see your underlying components of the funds held within the portfolio, their simple description, sector, long value, short value, net value, long parsed weight percent, short parsed weight percent, and net parsed weight percent. And here, if I come to GM, I can expand or contract the allocations of this position. So here, I own GM, the standalone position, and it's also positioned within VBINX. So that is our concentration report. And if I continue to scroll down, as you'll see, it looks very similar to our portfolio checkup. We offer asset class allocation with long-short breakout, sector allocation, region allocation, country allocation, and financial instrument allocation. At the bottom here, You'll find exposure, parsed exposure, gross, parse gross, net, and parse net exposure. And again, similar to Portfolio Checkup, all of these pie charts have a hover feature as well. So I will use SPY again as an example. So we're going to search SPY. And here you will see the top 10 holdings of SPY with the View All option as well. So here you'll see the 500 plus components of SPY with their weight allocations. So you get a full picture of the portfolio and the underlying components within your portfolio. When scrolling down here again, like Portfolio Checkup in our concentration report, we have the sector, region, country, financial instrument allocations available for just the SPY position. And again, this function is available for over 10,000 ETFs and mutual funds. Now, as you can see here, there is a bit of a load issue. Our developers are actively working to make this load time much more quicker for your convenience. So I'm going to take my breadcrumbs back to the Fund Parser tab and continue on to external accounts. So now here on our external accounts tab, this is the screen that you will see today in Client Portal. We will discuss this screen and a revamp coming soon in the external accounts beta tab. But for now, I would like to walk you through this page. Here's the Manage External Accounts widget, which will show you all external accounts that you've previously linked with their balances. As you can see here on the first one, there's an error message. So if you click on the error message, it'll pop up with alert details and it'll prompt you with the things that you need to change. So for example, if you changed your password of your external account or a security question is prompting you on your external account homepage, you'll have the ability to resolve those questions here. So I'm going to X out of this for now. I'm going to come back to the top of the page and briefly walk through adding an external account. This is our disclosure here. I'll click Continue, which will bring you to the Add External Accounts page. So for purposes today, I'm going to select Fidelity Investments. I would click Next. And then it would prompt you to enter your username and password and to re-enter your password. I urge clients to click on the login URL up at the top and confirm that their login credentials work at this page. It will mitigate any login issues that you would have when entering it on this third-party web page. I'm not going to enter my login credentials for the purposes of this webinar, but if you were to enter your login credentials and continue, the data would be automatically added to PortfolioAnalyst. So coming back to the external accounts page, I'd like to talk about uploading historical data. You can add historical data for external accounts by manually entering past data for information pertaining to balances and transactions, or by uploading data using a CSV file. To start, click Upload Historical Data, which is the upload icon on the upper right corner, which I'm hovering over today. You're going to choose to upload via CSV or enter manually. I'm going to enter manually for the purposes of this webinar. And select an account from the account picker. Now again, this is the same account picker we've seen throughout the presentation. And here you'll be prompted to select the start date. So the latest date of record here is May 31st of 2020. So I'm going to select the 25th of May so I can upload 5 days worth of data. A cash balance, a starting cash balance is required. So I'm going to say it is $1,000 USD. Now here, there's no positions on record, but for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to add a position. I will use Apple. The security ID is optional. Description is required. Currency will be assumed as the base currency of your account for the purposes of this demo. I'm going to pick Apple stocks. and I own 100 shares of Apple. To start, let's just use 370. Now I'm going to continue to the transactions page. On this transactions page, there is reconciliation. So as you can see, because there was no Apple on record on 5/31, it will prompt you to add a transaction that will get you to zero quantity of Apple. So again here, I sold Apple. And again, this is stocks. And it's going to require 100 share sell, so we get back to zero here. I paid zero commissions and fees. And now at the bottom here, there will be reconciliation issues because you did not have Apple on 5/31. So you're going to have to come in and reconcile the balance, your cash balance, to $2,400, which is the balance on record. So here, let's just say I made a withdrawal. Optional. And the withdrawal amount. And as you can see here, it will total to the $2,400 on record, and I'll continue. Now, I'm not going to submit this for the purposes of the webinar, but again, if I were to submit this, the data would be immediately available within PortfolioAnalyst. Now, I know we said that we were discussing individual account types here today, but if you're an institutional type account or a linked sub-account, you would have a client authorization here at the bottom of your screen, which would give the master account the ability to see your external account data, but they will not be able to see your external account data unless authorizing them to do so. So now we'll briefly discuss the external accounts beta tab, so you'll be able to see the new look and feel. So again, this matches more of our client portal look and feel and UI UX design. The same functionalities are available here. You have the add external account. You have the ability to add a financial institution, a live financial institution, an offline account, or a real estate account provided by Zillow. And when going to the financial institution page, it will look very similar to the previous widget. We're having some load time there. But again, just matches look and feel. So you'd come in, you'd select Fidelity like I did before, continue, and you'll be prompted to enter your username and password. And I will ask any of you interested in being beta testers for our new external accounts beta tab and our offline accounts project, please provide us your email within the questions pane and we'll be happy to sign you up for this beta testing. Lastly, I'm going to discuss our Education Center tab, which just provides quick jump links to useful information throughout PortfolioAnalyst. This provides FAQs, PortfolioAnalyst User's Guide, our white papers, our money-weighted, time-weighted, performance attribution, and risk measures white papers, which will be available again in the handout section of the GoToMeeting. We also have links to Traders Academy and release notes. Release notes are helpful just to keep an eye on new projects that we typically release every 2 weeks or so. So that concludes the basis of my webinar today, and I would like to open the webinar up to a Q&A session.
And as a reminder for everyone, you can find the questions panel over on the control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. Simply double-click the questions title bar and you can enter your questions there for Kristen at this point. Back to you, Kristen.
So I have a question here from John, who asked, what is your data source for sectors? And the answer to this, John, is we use Thomson Reuters business classifications. And just to elaborate on that, if you had derivatives, for example, you had an Apple option, we would use the underlying issuer sector as well for that Apple option. I also have a question here from Kate asking if we are GICS compliant. And the answer to that is no, we are not at this time, but we do work with account admins to provide the necessary data. So if they're looking for raw data or raw NAV or TWR on a daily basis since inception, we're always happy to work with account admins on those needs. Moving to Jake's question, why do my summed returns not equal the total? And it looks like Jake is a client here with us at IBKR. The answer to that, Jake, and it's probably one of the most common questions, is that returns and contribution to returns are geometrically linked. So you cannot just sum your returns over periods of more than one day to get the total. This is quite industry standard. So again, I'm asking if the 2 copies of the white paper are in the handouts identical. I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe Cynthia could speak to that. It should be the risk measure white paper, the performance attribution white paper, and the money weighted, time weighted white paper.
There was an extra at the beginning of the session, and that's been fixed. So those 3 reports are available in the handouts pane from your control panel.
Okay, great. I have a question here from M. Can you access PortfolioAnalyst via TWS? And the answer is yes. PortfolioAnalyst, if you go to the account menu in TWS, it's available through account management. So account management was our legacy portal name. It will soon be called Client Portal. I have a question here from Srinath and asking if this information is updated live at any given time. So we do support real-time data within PortfolioAnalyst, but real-time data is only supported for Interactive Brokers accounts at this time. And again, just to elaborate on the external accounts and external positions, they could be from a contra broker. So as you could see within the demo, I selected Fidelity. They could be offline positions. So you have the ability to add offline values. And coming up, we have an offline project, so you guys are aware, that will allow the ability to add detailed offline investment accounts. So if you are not comfortable with entering your login credentials perhaps, or perhaps you just want to test PortfolioAnalyst for a mock portfolio, you have the ability to add those detailed positions with transactions and cash transactions similar to the historical upload screen. Again, I have a question here from Bowden asking if it is free to generate any report, and again, yes. PortfolioAnalyst is a completely free tool. We offer it as a standalone version, so for those who do not have Interactive Brokers accounts, and it's also a free service, a value-add service for those who do have Interactive Brokers accounts. Another question here from Srinath, assuming that projected income is based on current positions, and yes, Srinath, they are based on your current positions as of last business day. Richard asked if our reports calculation methodology is consistent with GIPS. And again, I previously mentioned that we are not GICS compliant, but I will add that we are not GIPS compliant as well. And with that being said, our TWR and MWR methodology is fairly in line with GIPS. I'm just scrolling through these questions here. I have a question here from Eng asking if we can specify a time for the delivery of our report. And unfortunately, that functionality is not available at this time. Reports will typically be delivered from midnight to 5 a.m. EST. However, we do experience delays from time to time, but we are working to improve this process so that you will be able to select a delivery time of your report. I have a question here from Maurice asking how to generate the heat map. The heat map is included with the performance by symbol report. So I may have scrolled over it too quickly when I was demoing the sample reports, but it is included within that report. So it's on page 2 or 3 of that report, depending how many positions you have within your portfolio. I have a question here from Ivan asking if external account tabs are available for non-US citizens, and the answer is yes. External accounts are supported on a global scale. If you do not see your financial institution listed within the external accounts tab, please send us an email to PortfolioAnalyst@interactivebrokers.com, and we will reach out to our third-party aggregator to attempt to add that financial institution. I have a question here from Pedro asking for ETFs and funds if there are any minimum requirements for the amount that should be invested, and Portfolio Analyst does not care about minimums. So that concludes our Q&A panel for today. If I missed anyone during this session, please follow up with us during PortfolioAnalyst@interactivebrokers.com, and I'll happily answer your questions. I will spend some time responding via text for the remainder of the session, but I want to thank everybody for joining today, and to again, don't hesitate to reach out to PortfolioAnalyst@interactivebrokers.com. For those of you that are interested in the beta testing, I will also reach out to you via email. So thank you very much.
Well, with that, we're going to conclude today's session. I want to thank all of you for participating today and remind you that we have been recording this event. So, and each of you will get a direct link later on today to both today's recorded playback as well as the notes that are available. By the way, before you leave, if you'd like to get a copy of those white papers that are available in the handouts pane, simply double-click the title at the title bar, and you can download any of those reports directly from here. So with that, we are going to conclude our session today. You can all exit using the X in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks so much for your participation.